Yeah, come on. I like that, y'all. The H, the E, the
Are you a H.E.A.R.T teacher? H.E.A.R.T teachers not only think outside of the box, they break the box.
I like that, like that.
The H, the E,
Are you a H.E.A.R.T teacher? A H.E.A.R.T teacher is someone who never stops learning.
We know that highly efficacious, efficient, and effective educators expect their students to succeed.
Yes, y'all. Watch out.
H.E.A.R.T, highly efficacious, effective, and efficient educators, is a series of 22 live lessons that focus on different areas of teacher efficacy, advocacy, and support.
H.E.A.R.T teacher brings fun into the classroom.
H.E.A.R.T teachers bring excitement to the classroom.
They welcome change into their classroom. They are masters of the subject and the content that they teach. And most importantly, they never stop learning. So again, I ask, are you a H.E.A.R.T teacher?
We're excited that you can join us and stay tuned for our upcoming H.E.A.R.T live lessons. And we look forward to learning and growing with you. Thank you.
Yeah, come on. I like that, y'all. The H, the E, the H, the E. The H, the E, the H, the E. I like that, like that. The H, the E, H, E, H, E, yeah. Yes, y'all. Watch out. H.E.A.R.T.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, whether it is your first time or you are viewing us again because you just are in love with the H.E.A.R.T Summer Series. We are so excited that you guys are here with us tonight. I am Isa Span, an educator from South Carolina, and I'm here with my team and Miss Levels. Tell them who you are, where you from.
Hi, everybody. I'm Evette Rawls from Dallas, Texas. So excited to be here. Next, we've got Keishla.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keishla Wiley from Dallas, Texas, and Simone, tag you're it.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Miss Candace Siobhan. I see you from Maryland. I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Maryland. So shout out to DMV, shout out to North Carolina.
All right. So Simone is going to introduce the great, awesome guest that we have with us here tonight.
So again, everybody, hey, how's everybody doing? Drop in your city, your state, where you're representing from tonight. I'm excited tonight because Evette is from North Carolina, and so that's my heart. That's what I love. That's where I'm from. And so I'm going to read you her bio really quick, and then we're going to bring Evette on. So Evette Rawls, she's the founder of Teacher Coach Series, committed to nurturing educators in the first 5 years of teaching. And for some of you, you know that the first 5 years of teaching, that's when a lot of teachers decide that they're going to exit out of the teaching profession. Evette is a nationally recognized expert in adolescent literacy, inclusive classrooms, Common Core state standards, and integrating technology in the 21st century classroom. Evette began her career in education as a middle school teacher in North Carolina close to 20 years ago. Currently, Evette's work brings her to schools and classrooms all over the United States, where she shares proven practical models and strategies that develop the literacy skills of all students. Evette has published several books that support teaching and learning strategies that engage all learners in reading and writing. And I will just share with you guys a brief story about how I met her. So this month makes a year that I met her. I was a part of the Teacher Self-Care Conference out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I was supposed to share, and my presentation was called The Heart of a Teacher, because I believe that, you have to have more than content and knowledge, but you have to have the heart of a teacher. And so I was late to go. I was supposed to be there on a Friday to present and Saturday, and I didn't get there. Anyway, long story short, when I finally reached there on Saturday morning, I drove from Maryland to Atlanta. So it was like a 13-hour trip. It was storming. It was just a long trip. And when I finally got there to present, I wasn't able to present. And the classroom that I was presenting in was the same classroom that Evette was going to do a presentation a few hours later. And so, I was kind of upset that I didn't get to present. And so when I seen her come in and I seen her title, I said, well, I'll just stay. And I sat in the back of the classroom and I listened to her presentation on heart issues, what she'll share a little bit tonight. And I sat and I cried because I was like, I wasn't supposed to come to Atlanta to present. I was supposed to come to receive. And so I pray tonight that what she shares with all of you guys, educators, principals, leaders, that it will really allow us to check our hearts, to really do right by the children that we serve, the people that we're leading, and all the communities and families that we impact. So I'm excited for her to be here. It's a personal thing for me, but I know you all will be blessed tonight. So I want to welcome Miss Evette Rawls to H.E.A.R.T tonight.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to share the topic that we have. And I know that, with us coming on here, sharing, and hopefully, giving some information will be better for it. So thank you again for the opportunity for having me come on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to get right into it. I actually have a question. I have a question that I want to start out with asking you, what is your C moment? And when I say what is your C moment, I am asking what moment in your life was a significant emotional event? What was a C moment for you? I'll tell you what a C moment was for me. I lost my mom, and actually today is her birthday. So I thought it was really important that I came on here and I incorporated her into this session on tonight. And as I was asked to do this session, I actually shared with Simone and I said, that date is my mom's birthday. And she was like, well, no, let's switch. I said, no, let's do it. Because the fact that my mom, she passed away, and of course, physically, she's not here anymore. Her death physically led to my death, my ego death. And so I had to die to my ego. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something. And I want to start out with this statement. A heart offended is a heart revealed. I'm gonna let you think about that. A heart offended is a heart revealed. Now, we're going through a lot right now in society, and as we know, the climate and everything that's going on and all the different situations that's happened in society has had a major impact on how we live, how we operate, and how we relate to each other and everything that's going on. And a lot of the things that's happening, if we really pay attention to how people are reacting or responding, goes back to what's in our heart. What's in our heart? How do we check the way that our heart beats? How do you check your pulse? The heart is the source. It's the center. The heartbeat is the energy. What energy are you putting out? What's your vibes? As some of the young people would say now. What vibe? How are you vibing? What vibe, what energy are you putting out there? And so I always share, especially when I'm talking with young teachers, and I share and I say, a heart offended is a heart revealed. And I'll share that statement in a way to make it more of a reflective piece so that the young teachers or that the new teachers can go within to see, why are they agitated? Why are they aggravated? What's bothering them? What triggered them to be bothered by whatever it is that's happening in the building, by whatever it is that's happening in life? And we know life is going to happen. No matter what, life happens. There's nothing that we can do that can stop life from happening. However, how we respond to how life is happening all depends on us. And so it leads to what motivates you. What encourages you? Are we motivated from negative experiences, or is it positive experiences that are pushing us to make decisions and pushing us to decide to do whatever it is that we're doing from day to day? If it's something that's positive that's motivating us, we sort of respond to what's happening. It's like the inside, or our I want to use the word intuition, or our spirit man that sort of leads and guides us. If something negative, it's usually our emotions. And as we know, our emotions, they change. Our emotions, they change. They'll change. You could be happy the first 30 minutes of the day, and something can happen and you'll be upset. Something to trigger you just that quick. But when we get to a place where we can be strong, and we can be at a place where we're able to actually learn how to respond to what's happening versus reacting to what's happening, we don't let the negative experiences dictate how our future is going to be. The choices we make today is the life we live tomorrow. I want to go into talking about what happened when my mom passed away. When my mom passed away, as a lot of us, if you have a relationship with your mom, you think, for me, your mom is your world. Everything, with your mom, if you lose your mom, what are you going to do? You're going to be lost, And my mom, she actually went through a span where she was sick. And during that time, I am a sibling. I have 9 siblings. So I have a lot of siblings. I'm the middle child. And I went through a very selfish state. Like, that's my mom, I want to have all the time with her. I want to spend a lot of time with her. I feel like things should be done this way. And even though we were a unit, I've always been a strong family. Before my mom passed away, in the conversations that we would have, she would always ask questions that made me reflect and made me go within. And a young teacher came to me one day and said, "A heart offended is a heart revealed." And I thought it was so interesting, because in that moment, everything in my world, it was almost like, oh gosh, look how I'm operating. I'm offended. Yes, it's my mom, and yes, I should have it my way. And yes, everything should be the way that I think it should be, but really, should it? I was thinking that it should be this way. That's my mama. My way is the right way, But should it be my way? Or am I being selfish? Am I in an isolated situation that I'm only thinking about my needs? Am I only thinking about what would soothe me emotionally? And so I went through the death of the ego. My death of the ego experience happened when I was actually at the store, and we were getting the undergarments for my mom to bury my mom. And I got a text message from the principal, and the text was asking me if I was going to come in the next day to work. And I kept it to myself. I was very calm, and I responded, and I said, "I won't be able to come in tomorrow. I'll actually be burying my mom, but what do you need?" And I share this story, and I see the faces of teachers when I share this story. And a lot of people are saying, "What? You didn't go off? You didn't pop off? You didn't fuss them out?" No, absolutely not. Because in that moment, I knew that I was a solution to a problem that she had, and my problem was not her problem. I was dealing with something, and she was not at a place to see me in a way that she connected to me emotionally. She saw me as a solution to a problem she was having in the building, and she saw me as a person that needed to come fix it. She didn't care what I was dealing with. And I know you said, well, that's harsh. Well, that's what she has to deal with. What I was responsible for was how I responded to her. And in that moment, it was almost like a test. I looked at myself, and I actually was very proud of myself. Was I hurt? Was I disappointed? Yes. I was hurt, and I still disappointed when I think about it. But how I responded to her, I was proud of myself. And I realized in that moment that I had power over how I responded to emotional situations or emotional circumstances that happened in my life. And so I lead to a question, and I'll ask this. Are you mature emotionally? Now, we all know that maturity does not come with age, And we would like to think so. We would like to think because you hit a certain age, you're mature. And yes, we may be mature in certain areas physically. We may be mature about certain things professionally. We may be mature in certain ways, how we deal with our children, how we deal with our spouse, whatever the case. We may be mature in certain areas, but are we mature emotionally? Well, if you can't answer that question, I want to help you right now. I'm going to use my hand, and I'm going to let this be your guide. So I have my hand in the shape of a triangle. And I want you to think about the sides of a triangle and how they're equal. We're going to use, I'm not a math teacher, so if I say the wrong terminology, math teachers, math experts, forgive me. But I'm going to use a triangle as my example right now. And how a triangle is equal on all sides. You have equal, it's equal lengths on all sides. And it's very important that when you're trying to decide if you're emotionally mature, that you see or you ask yourself, am I operating out of fear, anger, and rejection? Or am I operating out of love, acceptance, and faith? Because if you're operating out of fear, anger, and rejection, it's a cycle that you'll continue to go through. And you'll continue to operate and you'll continue to block out any blessings or block out any new knowledge or block out any new ways of doing anything in your life to make it better. You'll stay stagnant. You'll plateau. You won't grow. But when you're operating out of love, acceptance, and faith, you're growing. You're accepting. You're receiving. You're able to welcome in new possibilities and new perspectives and new mindsets. And in the age and in the time that we're in now, and we think about, and I'll think about the most recent celebration that we had with Juneteenth. We can ask a lot of educators and we can say, how many of us have ever taught about Juneteenth? How many of us learned about Juneteenth in school? And as I saw that on social media and things, and I was saying, oh my gosh, I know about Juneteenth because my family, you know, and our background, our cultural beliefs, and what my mom thought was important, she would share with us. But I don't remember it ever being shared in school. And I bring that back to the triangle and saying, how many times have people tried to bring things into the school system, different history or different concepts or different curriculums or different ideas, and we block it out. And we operate out of fear, anger, and rejection because we're fearful of what that looks like. We're fearful because we don't know what that is. We're angry because we don't want to tap into that new information, or we reject it because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. Imagine a school that is operating, all the adults and the children, operating out of love, acceptance, and faith. You can even bring this into your household. You can bring it within. Imagine operating out of love, faith, and acceptance in every decision that you're making, in every relationship that you have. You're growing every time because you're opening up the possibilities, limitless possibilities. Pain leads to self-obsession. You say, well, what does that mean? Like, pain leads to self-obsession. When you're operating out of fear, anger, and rejection, you're just remembering the pain. You're just operating out of that feeling or that experience, that negative experience that caused you pain. How do you heal from that? When you accept things out of love, when you move out of faith, when you operate out of love, you begin to grow. You begin to heal. It's a process. It's something that you go through. Death to the ego. Why is it so important that we must die to our ego? Because when we're driven by our ego, we operate in isolation. Isolation is a powerful distraction. Isolation is something that can take you from just saying, hey, I just want to be alone, or hey, I just want to figure this out by myself, to lead into things like depression and suicidal growth. It stunts our growth. If you don't have anybody around you, and we know the statements, and we've heard several times that we need each other, and we need each other. It is so important that you have people in your world and have people in your circle that can help you on and pour into you. Because if you operate in isolation, you're operating in emotional immaturity. That's where you have the fear. That's where you have the anger. That's where you have the rejection. That's where you're operating out of pain. So you have to go back and ask yourself, am I healed? What caused this pain? Because you have to deal with the root of the issue, not the seeds of the issue. And if you deal with the root of the issue, you'll be able to operate out of love, because you'll be able to say, I'm going to sever that at the root, and I don't want that to grow anymore. I don't want to be something that happened at the age of 10 dictate what happens to me when I'm 30. You have to make sure that you're operating in an emotional maturity versus an emotional immaturity. And that's why when you think about the question that I asked, or the statement that I said in the beginning, a heart offended is a heart revealed. Why are you offended? Why did it hurt your feelings? Why was it a trigger? All of us have experienced some form of trauma. And I wanted to share, just in case you did not know, there's 3 types of trauma. We have systematic trauma, we have generational trauma, and we have inherited trauma. And we think about inherited trauma, and we think about things that has happened from one generation to the next generation. We think about that more in the era. We think about generational trauma that has happened from one time frame to another time frame. And where we think about right now with this pandemic that we're dealing with, it's a systematic trauma that is causing, more of a upheaval, concern, stress in our life, anxiety in our life, which that's what trauma is. There's 4 stages of trauma. So you have the care, you have concern, you have stress, and then anxiety, because that's when it gets to where it's physical. And stress, sometimes it's just on the inside. And we know that when we're stressed, of course, our physical being can be impacted more so than anything else. And people don't even know that their body's being impacted by stress. Like anxiety is where it's visible, where you can see it. It's trauma. What is causing you to operate out of pain? You have to look at the root. And when you get to the root of it, when you look at the root, because I'm gonna give you more so a more not so heavy example, so you can sort of look at, why do I feel this way? Why do I act this way? Why is this bothering me? I'm gonna give you more of not so heavy example. For people who are scared of dogs, I use this example. I even use this example with my students. Well, why are you scared of dogs? Well, why don't you eat chocolate? Well, my mama said I couldn't eat chocolate because nobody in my family eats chocolate. Okay, so you're scared of dogs because your mama said you're scared of dogs? Have you ever heard anybody say that? You ever heard anybody that does not try anything because it's a generational, or it's inherited trauma? It's not even that they even experienced the trauma. Somebody else down the line experienced the trauma, but they put that trauma on their child, or they put that trauma on you. So when you look at the root of, why are you afraid to move forward? Why are you afraid to operate out of love? Why are you afraid to walk in acceptance of new ideas and new concepts? Why are you afraid to walk in love? You have to get down to the root and say, what is causing me to be scared of this? How do I feel when somebody brings something new to me? My chest start beating fast? Am I sweating? My palms sweaty? Am I sweating under my arms? Whatever that looks like for you. Why? You have to ask those hard questions. You have to get down to the root of what has caused you to be that way. And it's a process. It's not something that will happen overnight, but it's something that you can definitely get through. I'm a living example of it. I wanted to bring up a word, and I wanted to go back to the first words that I said, and I said a significant emotional event. I want to bring up a word, and I want to talk about the word change. It's kind of scary, right? Think about change. And a lot of us, we hear change. We hear change in a lot of different ways, especially what's going on now. We need change in a lot of different areas, of especially society right now. But within ourselves, are you at a place that you are ready to change some of the ways that you think, some of the ways that you do things? It can be scary, because if you're used to doing something and you used to operate in a certain way, say 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, I don't care. How many years you've been operating a certain way? Would you think that you would change overnight and just stop altogether? Sometimes people do cold turkey, you know. But it's just like when you go to run. Say, I'm going to run a marathon in 6 months. You wouldn't just say, I'm going to go the day before and I'm going to go run that marathon. You'll begin to train. You'll begin to practice. And that's exactly what you need to do when you begin to heal. Mental exercises, emotional exercises. You need to do this. So when you have a negative thought or you have a trigger, you have something that reminds you of that pain or that feeling, you shut it down. This is why confessions are so important. What are you saying to yourself? What are you speaking to yourself? If you're constantly saying that you're afraid of something, you're constantly saying that you're not ready for something, if you're constantly speaking death to a situation because you're being self-driven, because you're thinking within, isolated. We talked about the danger of isolation. You're operating in emotional immaturity. And when you operate in emotional immaturity, you are always offended. So a heart offended is a heart revealed. What is your heart revealing? And that's what I have for tonight. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this has empowered you. I hope that this has equipped you in a way that you are able to reflect, that you are able to take this information. I hope you took some notes. If you want to reach out to me and ask me for any of this information, I'm willing to give it to you. You just reach me on Instagram. I'm Teacher Coach Series. That's pretty much it. It's all one word. You can reach me at teachercoachseries@gmail.com. I'm Teacher Coach Series on Facebook as well. And I'm Evette Rawls on Twitter. But you can reach out to me and ask any of these questions, any parts of what I shared, I am willing to share with you. And I hope this has blessed you, empowered you, equipped you, and educated you. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight. As always, you guys know I have my pen and my pad. So I was, of course, taking notes and listening in. That significant emotional event is powerful, because a lot of times, especially as educators, we don't realize how much baggage we bring to the classroom and how we think and our thought process. Sometimes we push that onto our students and we don't know. And this message from you is just so timely as we introduce this idea of efficacy to so many educators that didn't think about it before. And we really have to think about the belief that we have. Did I blank out, guys? Did I leave?
Yeah, you're good.
But I was just going to say, a lot of times what we think about ourselves, if we have insecurities, if we have doubtful moments, or, whatever that looks like as the adult, sometimes we do project that energy out. So I would thank you just for giving us the opportunity to really reflect and to think about what you also said, like it's the root and not the fruit. And a lot of times we look at that fruit of what comes from things, but we don't really look at the root. So again, I thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. Evette, what do you recommend for? I know you work a lot with new teachers, and you know that right now with this experience that we're going through with COVID-19, whether you're new or whether you're seasoned, we all are struggling emotionally. I know you talked a lot about pain and how important it is to have that group of people around you. So what recommendations would you make now? Because people are now preparing to return. How can they ensure that they're going to be ready emotionally to take care of other people, because they got to take care of their coworkers or their students or their families or parents? So what recommendations would you make?
Well, the first recommendation that I would make is for self-care. There's no way that you can pour out or that you can help or you can sustain someone else if you're not sustaining yourself. And a lot of times we say self-care and we think, and which it is a part of self-care. We're like, just take some time to get your nails done and go get your hair done and things like that, which is a part of self-care. But that mental and that emotional self-care, how are you sustaining that? How are you making sure that you are whole and complete within? So the recommendation that I would give is make sure that you will tap in to yourself, and whether that's through meditation or reading. And I'm spiritual and faith-based, and I don't want to offend anybody, but whatever your choice of reading is, but reading the word or reading whatever it is that you choose to read, to make sure that you're building yourself up. You need to make sure that you are always feeding your inner self, making sure that you're feeding yourself, that you're able to pour out to someone else. If you need, if it's students or if it's parents, especially during this time, that some teachers, they're isolated, they're by themselves. It is very important that you are surrounding yourself, your environment, your culture, your home with positive things. Get up, set that schedule, open those blinds, go for a walk, have your favorite coffee, treat yourself. Sometimes, I know like the big thing, especially doing COVID, make sure you're physically active and make sure that you don't gain the quarantine 15, little trends that's on social media and things like that. But I mean, if you want to eat a big slice of cake, go on and eat some cake. You did good this year, I mean, we worked hard. I mean, this was new for everybody. This was a lot of trauma that we experienced. And also reach out. Do not be afraid to reach out to people. And I'm not saying that you have to, put all your woes on somebody or let somebody else put their woes on you. But in the same sense, just reach out to people to see how people doing. You saying, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you just to say, hey, spark up conversations, to have that physical or that personal interaction with someone else. It's so important, especially during this time that we are quarantined.
Right. I know we have heard that as educators, some of us do it innately. We create a community of care. But for some people, what are some signs or some triggers that we can look for with our coworkers? Because sometimes, we see some things going on and we want to say, hey, she needs some help.
Yeah.
So what can we look for in our colleagues, that triggers, that are signs to tell us that they are going through this trauma and they're not doing well, that they need our support?
Right. I think that is a really good question. I actually appreciate you for asking that, because it's very rare that you hear another education saying, how do I see signs in another person? How do I see signs within myself? And that is so powerful that you asked that question. And I know with dealing with some educators, especially here recently, it has been where they don't even know that they're experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say, what does that look like? It looks so different for everyone. It could be where, they are quiet. A person that's always quiet that sometimes was a little bit more talkative, they may be experiencing that I guess you would call the effects of being, isolated or whatever it is that's going on when they get back into the building. They're just not as talkative because they're trying to process everything that just happened. It's a number of things. If you notice, and I don't want to say what physical things you should look for, because it's so different for everyone. I don't want to say because somebody is shaking or somebody blinking a lot or somebody walking away, but I believe that some of the main things that you'll pay attention to is isolation, the silence, and sometimes the outburst.
Right.
You're like,
right.
You okay over there?
You okay?
I mean, seriously, everybody responds differently, reacts differently. Everybody comes from different environments and everybody's brought up differently. Everybody had different types of experiences growing up. And sometimes an outburst is a cry for help. Even though it maybe has a big bark and leave me alone and it's stupid, it's dumb, just like our kids, just like our students. When they don't want to learn a new concept, they're like, oh, this dumb, this stupid.
Right.
But it may be, but let's talk about it.
Right.
Come in love. We just have to make sure that we're always operating in love and make sure that we're mature emotionally, because when we're operating in love, it's usually received in love, So that was a really good question.
And I think that's part of, because, that's just my personality. I'm always making sure, I've been an administrator for so long. I'm always having to take care of, if it's 150 teachers, if it's 1,100 teachers, or 10,000 students, whatever my responsibility has been. I'm always concerned about taking care of others, because we always have to have that community of care. So my other question, I have one more question. If you, as an administrator, and I'm looking to provide some type of emotional support, what are some activities I can do as an administrator, or maybe as a teacher, I can share with my principal or with my department? Things that I can do, maybe like some icebreakers or some activities, something that I can do to kind of lighten up the moment, to kind of give us, that sense of care.
Yes. And it's so, I like, again, just the fact that you're just so willing to just make this happen for new teachers. I think it's so amazing. Anything that you do, I don't care what kind of icebreaker, I don't care what kind of meal, what kind of soul food, whatever you bring in, we're going to love it. We're going to appreciate it. But when it's done in love, when it's done in a place it's just genuine, I've been through a lot of administrators. I've been in education for a long time. And when it's done in love, you can just tell the difference. I still remember an administrator. It didn't matter, what was going on in the building. It could have been chaotic. He always remembered what was going on with me and my kids. And when I went from being, becoming a single mom, and he always remembered the health care of my son. And I remember he always wanted to do like community. And I just remember the impact. It was genuine. He cared. Whereas somebody else could have been doing all the events, having the icebreakers and things like that, and everybody was in there like, it wasn't out of love. It wasn't out of, do you genuinely care about me? Are you, it's always a lot of talking. It's always a lot of talking, but it's not a lot. It's not out of love. You can tell when kids can tell when you care. Nobody cares about how much you know. They only care about how much you care. So back to that. So when they talk about what is the right activity, what is it? But when you go up to that new teacher, you go up to that teacher and say, "No, how are you doing?" I mean, you stop and you say, "Hey, how are you?" You know their name. I know it's 1,100. Right. I know it's a lot, but just the fact acknowledgement of the smile. I mean, I know all of us have already experienced all types of adults in our life, but we know when someone is genuine and they're coming to you doing, or hey, keep it good, and have a good day, or good morning, or whatever it is that you use to greet people. I share this with my daughter, and I have 3 children, but I share this with my older daughter. She used to say, "Mom, why do you say good morning all the time? Stop it." Good morning back. I said, "All right." So I stopped saying good morning, and a little boy who always looked at me like, he came in and he said, "You didn't say good morning." It wasn't. I told her, I said, it wasn't for them. It wasn't for me. It was for me to wish to speak life into them every day. Right. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I said, good morning. When I hear other teachers say, she ain't even say good morning back. It ain't, she ain't got to. I spoke life.
Right.
I'm here as a blessing. I'm blessed to be a blessing.
Right.
Because of me.
Right.
I'm blessed, So I think about it that way. So when you think about the activities you can do for new teachers and what you can do to make sure that the environment is safe and everybody's feeling like they can come and share whatever they're dealing with. Because we can't think about, we can't change anybody. Everybody's gonna be who they are, but you as a person operates out of love, and you become a magnet. You attract what you got inside of you.
Right. And, and we talk about, it's actually trademarked, Dr. Johnny Cruz Craig trademarked it. It was about education. It's a heart matter. And it's not, that says it all. It's a heart matter when you're dealing with kids. It's a heart matter when you're dealing with your colleagues, with teachers, with parents. It is a sincere heart matter. And like you said, kids know when you feel a certain way. They know if you have a sincere desire for them to be successful or not. Teachers do. Like you said, you knew that principal cared about you. And even if you had done just a little cup of popcorn versus a whole soul food dinner, it felt the same because of the love that he shared. Okay. I think there's one question. You want to do the questions? I see one about how important is it for educators to address heart issues?
It is very important. The reason why is because of everything that you shared before this, but relationships matter. You can't have a relationship if it's not starting here. It's not a relationship. It's a one-sided. Relationships are something that it's a two-way street. And it comes back to how you operate. Because everybody's going to have some type of relationship. But what type of relationship are you going to have? Are you going to have a positive impact or a negative impact? And I hope that everybody will have a positive impact. And it goes back to, what's going on in your heart? Are you operating out of emotional maturity? Because if you're not, then that relationship is going to be negatively driven. And we don't want that.
And I'm sorry, we didn't even announce this is our BYOB time, our Bring Your Own Voice. So all of our participants that are in the sessions, this is your time to get engaged with us. Some of you already know, our routine. Some of you have already shared questions, so thank you. If you haven't, please post your questions, and we will try to get those questions answered over the next few minutes that we have left with Ms. Rawls. She's done such a wonderful job. So please, whatever questions that you all have, like you said, we know that it's important for educators that when they're addressing those hard issues, they're developing those relationships. They're developing the relationships with the students, with the staff, with parents. We know that's how that occurs. Ms. Isis, you want to take the question?
Yeah, so we have a question. How do you ensure that you are not ego-driven in the classroom?
Oh, that's a good one. Because I said so. But seriously, how many times have we sort of had that mentality or that way of operating in the classroom with other adults, with children, anybody younger than us? Because I said so. And when you come in with that type of mindset, when you come in with that type of way of doing, you're operating out your ego. Mm-hmm. You make it an inclusive environment, which is so important, especially during this time with everything that's going on with trying to erase racism and everything that's happening. You have to make sure that you're driven. And it's a dangerous area, because if you're ego driven, you're going to be scared to talk about racism in the classroom. You're not even going to want to address it. You're not even want to say that it's there, because I'm scared of how I'm going to feel. You're going to operate out of that fear again, operate out of that tension. You're going to be operating out of that anger, because it's going to trigger something in you. Maybe grandpa or papa was, a certain way, and you don't want nobody to know, But when you are transparent and you have created an inclusive environment, a climate and a culture that's built up that's in there, ego is gone. Because now it's everybody. We're all making sure that everybody feels safe and that it's positive. That's from what it feels like when they walk in the door, what they smell when they walk in the door. With every interaction that you have, because with every interaction that you have with anybody, you leave a footprint on their heart.
Right. And that's so powerful. And I know one thing that I used to do when I was in the classroom, it was always our. You need to keep our classroom clean. You need to make sure if someone knocks on our door that you do this, because a lot of times we say my classroom needs my pencil, needs my marker, needs my chairs, and it makes them like it takes the community out of it. When we say my,
you take the accountability away too.
Right.
That's one thing that I teach on the all boys team. I didn't share that, but I teach on the all boys team middle school. And some people look at it and they're like, oh wow, because it is a oh wow too. But it's a thing in the sense of the boys, they'll say, can I get a pencil? And I tell them the first day, these are your pencils. I don't need no pencils. These are your pencils. This is yours. But it's because they've been trained for all these years and all the different classrooms that they've been sitting in, that they have this mindset that it's almost like they're scared in some sense to move. And you want to have structure. I don't want to take that away, because we need structure and expectations in order to have a well working machine that everybody's operating expectations as needed to be met. But at the same time, you want it to be safe. So I said, hey, these are your pencils. Them your wipes. I don't need wipes. This is yours. So it's very important because when you take away and you say ownership, or you give someone another, my type mindset, you take it away from them, you take that accountability away, and it also takes away that piece of learning. They'll be like, well, I can't learn here. This ain't my classroom.
That's good. That's good. That, and I like how you add that ownership there, because sometimes we know what the research says, that when you have ownership and accountability, and those persons involved tend to rise, they tend to meet those expectations. But when you yourself keep that to yourself, and you want to push out, and they have not had the opportunity to have that ownership, I mean, there's no way you can even reach that goal, be it a culture for your classroom, be it academics, no matter what the goal is. But you have to have ownership from everyone involved. So do you have any other questions, Ms. Isis? I haven't seen anything.
We're going to do one more question.
One more question. Yay.
All right. So how do you make sure you are operating out of emotional maturity?
Making sure that you're operating out of love. You operate out of love is going to be the root of it all. When you're operating out of love, you're willing to accept. And you ain't going to accept foolishness. We know that, because if it's something that's negative, you're not going to receive negativity into a positive environment. Positivity breeds positivity. So you want to make sure that when you are, and it's the case if you are, wanting to do this and share this with new teachers, you're operating out of a place that you are breeding positivity. Because we know that if you get in that wrong crowd, negativity is negativity. And so you want to make sure that you're operating out of emotional maturity and it's operating out of love. And I mean, it gets a little deep, and we don't really have enough time to get into it. But that goes back into, what do you think love is? Some people don't know what love is. Some people operate out what they experience as love as a child, which goes into their adult life, which goes into the classroom. And so where you see somebody giving tough love, as we say, in the classroom, it's really breeding trauma in the classroom. So we operate out of love. True definition of love, and we're not coming there with this dictatorship and we got to act this way and we got to be hard on them. No, we can be hard on them out of love. No, I'm not doing that. Sit down.
Right.
Thank you. And I'm glad. I'm not. And I hardly ever raise my voice. And I haven't do a write up in probably 10 years. I don't do write up. I never raise my voice. I always have a calm environment. And if they come in, I say, you might need some turtle time. Come in. And if people get rowdy around me, I'll always ask questions that's very reflective and say, you think that was okay? You think that was all right? Now, let them, if you feel that's how you want me to remember you, have it. I'm not going to disrespect it, but I just operate in love at all times.
Right. That's a great comment from Rosin Stewart, saying you should evolve from ecosystem to ecosystem of culturally responsive learning. And we know that's all about creating that culture in that classroom. That's one that is manifested out of mutual respect, love, honor, and negotiation.
Yes.
So all that's in that ecosystem.
Miss Rosalind, that is so beautiful. I went on a live on Instagram and we talked about the cultural responsive classroom. And we talked about, are you looking at your students as a threat? Opportunity. Because if you look at a threat, ain't nobody learning. You scared, they don't know what's going on. You treating them as their threat. Think about when you see something that threatens you.
Yeah.
That was good.
Right. That's good. So Miss Isis, do we have time? We need to thank her and bring Miss.
Gonna bring in the rest of our team. All right, Simone, tag, you're it.
But Evette, I want to say thank you again. Like, of course, I've heard this, and it always involves, and it was a moment for me to be reflective last summer when I read it. So thank you so much. When you talk about operating in love, a lot of people can, say stuff, but what you talked about is really something. It's a hard topic because people don't always want to reflect, but the way you present it, because you really present it from a loving place, people are easy to receive it. That's why I was able to sit back there and cry and like, I want to get to know this girl and I want to talk to you, because it made me reflect on me. But you are the example, the epitome of sharing stuff out of love. So even as an administrator or, someone that's supervising or leading you, you can have hard conversations and people can receive it because they really do it out of love. So on behalf of the H.E.A.R.T team, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on to share with us tonight. Thank you for being a presenter for our summer sessions. We truly do appreciate you. We truly do. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for sharing this tonight, and continue to reach many, many people with what you're doing and helping young teachers and new teachers. Because if I had someone my first 5 years, I think I would have avoided a lot of the things that I did, even though I know everything works together for the good. But, just making sure that we are heart centered. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you guys so much. It's definitely been my pleasure. The opportunity, your energy, all of what you're doing. That intro when y'all came on, guys, I was like, yes, I'm here live. Yeah, I'm here live. I think I saw the I mean, everything that you do, I just commend you guys. I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Evette, share with them about your new teacher retreat that you're doing.
Oh, yeah. So the Teacher Coach Series is presenting the Dear New Teacher Retreat, and it is versus a conference. I want every new teacher that comes to feel that it's just a day of escape and a day of empowerment where we are going to equip them and educate them, that when they leave, that we don't, that number of 47% that's leaving in the first 5 years decrease. And so my goal is that, that they'll come to this conference and they'll see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just a revival. It's like a little revival. So we're going to call it. It's going to be in Durham, North Carolina, downtown Durham, October the 9th, 2020. And so there is a link in all of my bios on Facebook, Instagram. Also, you can go to my website, which is Teacher Coach Series. You can email me teachercoachseries@gmail.com, or you can go to teachercoachseries.com. All of it is one. You don't need to do any spaces or dots. And you can see all the information. Or you can do Dear New Teacher. You can Google that, and it'll also come up. The tickets are on sale now for $25 for a full day session. Where we'll have speakers that are talking about culturally responsive classrooms, financial 101 financial tips 101 for new teachers, relationship building, as well as classroom engagement, and how to get along with the adults in the building. So it'll be an all-day session for the teachers, and we're excited about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Before you go, Evette, I was born in Raleigh, Durham, so I think I kind of count for North Carolina somewhere.
Yeah.
With cousins or something. So
yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you. We have a few upcoming sessions we want to share with you all and remind you. On Thursday, we have Dr. Jennifer McMillan from Fort Worth, Texas, and she's going to be sharing with you by having fun teaching and distance learning. So excited about Dr. Jennifer McMillan. And then on Tuesday, make sure you are here with us Tuesday. Dr. Sharshenda Covington from Georgia will be with us. She's going to be sharing with us about how to support students and staff during this COVID-19. If you know anything about Dr. Covington, she comes from the heart, and she makes sure that you are going to be instructionally sound. She leads, and she models everything she teaches. So excited about Dr. Jennifer McMillan on this Thursday and Dr. Sharshenda Covington on Tuesday, June the 30th. We thank you all for coming with us today. Keishla, tag, you're it.
All right. All right. Well, here's one of our favorite times of the show where we get to acknowledge our viewers for just providing us with your feedback. So thank you guys for providing us with feedback each week. We have a survey. You can find the survey link in the comments. Please provide us with that. If you do provide us with that, your name goes into a drawing for a Visa gift card. And so we're going to go ahead and acknowledge our winners from Thursday. Our first winner is Dr. Lavada Taylor. Congratulations, Dr. Lavada Taylor. And our second winner is Miss Keisha Thorpe. Congratulations, Miss Keisha Thorpe and Dr. Lavada Taylor. Again, thank you all for joining us this evening. We're going to bring everyone back in. And as we get ready to close out this evening and we show our video, we just want to invite you all, please connect with us. Be sure to join us on any social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. We're all VTech Tag. I'm sorry, say it again, Lavada.
Everywhere.
And take a look at this video because it really does kind of give you an idea of the work that is being done and the initiatives that are being carried out. But not just take a look at it, connect with us. Again, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
We gotta fight against them, but we need numbers. We need to show up at school board meetings. We need to show up at county commissioner meetings. We need to have someone on the agenda to talk and know what they're talking about to advocate. efficacy. How can you be great if you're not being better than you were tomorrow than you were yesterday? So that's the whole goal. Just to be better, to come to knowledge, come to awareness.